Hello, I wanted to talk to you just a minute about how to use this template for your presentation. If you decide to do so, it's a good idea because it includes every part, and if you forget one, you might lose points. So just like you did for the paper, you can use copy and paste in some places. So your title, you can copy and paste. You can add your name and university affiliation. Then you continue on, and I wrote introduction here. You can change that word if you want, but this will make the same points as the introduction, getting your audience interested and explaining the significance and the need for this research study. So as you're presenting it, you really do want to use this time to get your audience interested. So perhaps you have more latitude here than you do in the paper itself to like tease your audience and make them see that this is relevant. You might consider ending this with a question to get them curious. You might include an image if it's relevant or something like that. And you'll, of course, have seen a few examples of how other people have done this. Then, just like your paper, you'll move on to findings from previous research. You'll lay this out in terms of your logical structure. So you don't want to cover one study, then the next, because hopefully you've woven these studies together. And you can have as many slides as you think you need. I made 2 here, but you want to just make sure that we understand what the existing research is and why it's relevant. And once again, never ever in this entire presentation are you to have paragraphs. You want to list key points. So key points would be like the main idea, so that your reader knows what you're talking about, but then it's up to you to talk about it. And of course, you will have citations here. So that means the same as you did in your paper, the author's last name and the year, and you'll have your full reference on the reference page. You'll go on to your design. Again, key points, no paragraphs. And if you feel like an image is helpful, you can include one, like if you're doing a counterbalance design or something like that. Same participants, materials, and procedure. In your results, key points, no paragraphs, and you're going to put your graph in here and be prepared to show it and talk about it. Your implications are your key points from your discussion section about what you found in the research and why it was important. And ideally, you'll link back to your lit review here. You'll want to talk about all 3 of your limitations, including why they could be a problem and how you respond to that problem. And then your conclusions, similar to your last paragraph in your paper, but it will include future research and your reference page. Now, one thing is, this is a pretty boring format. So if you go to your home menu, you'll see this designer, and your designer will tell you different ways that you could present each page. So if you had an image, like if I was presenting the bird feeder study, I might want to actually have an image. So if I were doing this, I would just go onto the web and take a bird feeder picture. Technically, if you were doing this for a public presentation, you would probably want to have you would want to cite the source for the images. I do this when I'm presenting formally. I don't always do this when I'm presenting in class, and not all images are copyrighted. So it's a little bit of a technical question mark there, but I'm going to put an image in here. I'm just going to paste it in. Whoops, let me paste it in this way. And now you can see everything that I have here, and you'll see they give me some ways that I could present this. And so maybe I would choose, this one for starting my paper, and then I would have my bird feeder title here. And of course, you can do the same for each slide. So again, that's on the home menu, and it's under designer. But I'll caution you, always, this PowerPoint designer wants to make your text really small. This is consistent. So watch what happens if I present this. This is a much smaller text. So if you do go with this designer, I always make this text bigger. I always expand it and try to make it so that the text is as big as possible, because it's hard for people to see. And I don't personally like to have small text on slides. So I always do a little adapting to what the designer is suggesting to me. So I'll make that a little bigger. And now to me, this is much easier to see for someone who's reading. So I'd say you can use the designer, but put your own wisdom on top of it. I hope this little video was helpful. Thanks for tuning in.